Welcome to the Dynasty Happy Hour podcast. Pull up a chair and kick up your feet as you get ready to enjoy some of the industry's most entertaining and actionable Dynasty content on the planet. We're talking veterans, rookies, sleepers, and oh yeah, you know the crew has those dad jokes ready for you. So let's not wait any longer and bring on the host or some combination of Doug, James, and Tyler.
Welcome back to the Dynasty Happy Hour. Boys, it's Thanksgiving week. We had a lot of football this week. We had Thursday games, Friday games, Sunday games. There's a game tomorrow on Monday. It's all football all the time. James, how the hell was your Thanksgiving?
Oh, I'm stuffed. I am absolutely stuffed from all the football this week that went on. And then we just got a little bit of dessert with that Eagles-Bills game. Oh, I can't wait to get into it. But I'm doing great. How's everybody going?
Yeah, a little cherry on top in that game. Tyler, what's popping in Minnesota? You have some tater tot hot dish for Thanksgiving, did you?
No,
hey,
but
did
that
you
actually
mix
gives
the
me
turkey
an
with the
idea.
totters?
That would be awesome. No, my favorite thing about this holiday is Doug looking like Patrick Swayze in Ghost right now. That's definitely my favorite thing.
Yeah, this light is busted. Hold on.
If you guys don't
I was
know,
going to
you
say,
guys
he
should
looked a
go to
little
YouTube.
pale.
I am very pale right now.
It's the pale season. So I mean, if you don't know, hey, that's perfect. If you don't know, go to YouTube, hit subscribe, hit that like button. Hurry, you must do it now. You got to hit that subscribe if you want to see
100% of the people that watch us aren't subscribed, so get with it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But no, it was great up here. We had snow falling today right before football. We cut down our tree when it was snowing. It was perfect. It was like that perfect tree cutting ceremony. It was a great weekend with family, and I really, really enjoyed it.
Excellent. Yeah, we went to my wife's aunt's house and had Thanksgiving with her family. That was a good time. Good amount of football, food, and family. All the Fs. It was wonderful. The dessert was great. And then, it was nice not to host. We host Christmas every year. So not hosting Thanksgiving is nice because you can just go, show up, bring your couple dishes, and go the hell home when you're done and don't have to worry about cleaning up and all that jazz. That'll be me on December 26th when we host the majority of our family coming down here, spending the night and all that stuff. So it's going to be absolute chaos, and I'm here for it. Speaking of chaos, I'm not talking about this week. I'm talking about Underdog. It was chaotic in my lineups this week on Underdog, boys. The prop bets were not propping, and it was a weird week overall. But I can tell you this. Underdog is one of the funnest ways to play DFS. You love football like me, you can go on there. You can do prop bets. There's all different ways to play. You can also do basketball and hockey. Those are both going on at the moment as well. So if you have a diversified portfolio, unlike myself, there's all sorts of ways to play on Underdog. Use code DHH today, and they will match your deposit up to $100 right away. So if you put in $100, you'll have another $100 on top of that. Spend $200. If you like James, he's been hitting lately. He's riding the hot hand, making some extra Christmas cash to pay for those gifts. Perfect timing. Hey, perfect timing over there. Hey, with the hitting of the bets.
Always count on the underdog. Hey.
Always getting the veto bet.
The veto. Yeah. He did that after his touchdown.
I actually have a stipulation. I do not bet on my team. It's the one thing I don't do. Win or lose.
But what
don't matter.
about the Italian stallion?
Veto.
His dad's in the stands just doing the.
Yeah. He's like, hey, don't worry, son. I made your bed this morning. You're good.
I'm still trying to figure out how Tyler made it all the way from the LA Rams game to the podcast in time.
Wentz?
Did I have to say
I mean,
Did I?
Are you unwrapping the present from 2019, James?
I'm just happy to see you still on
he
the
found
field
it in the back of the closet, Tyler. It had dust on it and everything. It was like in the attic.
A giant Christmas tree behind
he was in the attic watching a projector, a family film, and he found some old gifts.
And then I fell through the ceiling.
The difference is he has blue eyes, and also he, if you watch the video, somebody came up to him and was like, "Hey man, I'm a huge fan. I'm kind of fanboying. Like there's video out of it," and I'm like, "How shocked was Carson Wentz? Like what?" But it's good to see Wentz just kind of enjoying his role because
he's like, "You're my adult acne hero."
No,
Carson Wentz.
I mean, if Wentz ever needs a sponsor, Proactive is definitely a go-to for him. But
Yeah,
no,
Accutane.
Wentz to me, could you guys see a world where Stafford retires and then they just give it to Wentz, who will be 32 by the time he has an opportunity there?
Can we not? I'm
No.
not wasting any time on this.
No.
We're gonna move on. We are gonna cover the week's action. What week is this? We're in week 12.
Yeah.
Week
Well,
12
it's already week 12 already. Dang. We got playoffs starting in a couple weeks. Good Lord. The time is absolutely flown by. We do have some player news this week as well as some injuries, which we'll cover. And then we're going to sit around and we're going to chop it up about week 12, see the things that we saw, and point out some stuff that, we're looking forward to and some things that were kind of like, not so great. So let's start with player news. The NFL Network's Mike Garafolo reports the Panthers will wait until the offseason to evaluate head coach Frank Reich's performance. I'll tell you what, Panthers.
Do you really need 18
I'll do it.
full games
I'll do
of
it
this
for
crap?
free. He sucks. Fire him. There you go.
Their evaluator, Helen Keller, has needed some time to evaluate the situation. I mean, this is the only ethical reason why you would need time to see how bad this offense is. Like, it's historically bad.
The line is bad. The offensive playmakers are bad. It's
Bryce
just bad.
Young has literally been Houdini back there. There's so many times during a game where he will escape, and you're like, damn, that's the Bryce Young we know. But he has to do it every play, and that's not okay. He's starting to get to the point where he is just running for his life, and he knows what's coming, but he still stays calm, cool, and collected, which is why I still feel like he could be a success in the NFL.
You know,
It's just not to the point where I think I expected. He could be Alex Smith.
you know, it's a good thing that they have their first round pick. It's going to be. Oh, wait a minute. Oh,
Well,
Wait, I'm just getting this breaking news in my earpiece. The Panthers don't have their first round pick. Oh shit, we're in trouble.
Yeah, what's up for Mingo? Hey.
Oh, they've got to do something at receiver.
They're going to spend in free agency, I would assume.
Yes.
So also this week, NFL Network's Ian reports there's a chance Aaron Rodgers in his HLS returns to practice this week. Why does anyone care about this? The Jets are now, 4-7?
Because they want to see Garrett Wilson with a real quarterback.
I would love that too, but like it doesn't.
That's about the only thing I care about here.
You know, and honestly, everybody's like, "Oh, if they're out of it, Rodgers ain't gonna play." That's not Rodgers' style. Rodgers wants to come back. This is like, if you guys
he wants
say
the attention.
Exactly. This is like historical if he recovers and comes back.
King of
exactly.
the castle. King of the castle.
Yes. And everybody's like, "Oh, if
I'm better than everyone."
Everybody's like, "Oh, if they're out of it,
Think
he ain't
about
coming back."
all the Batman Returns merchandise that they're going to make in New
He
York.
is 100% coming back. 100%. And you know what? That's great if you have Breece Hall or Garrett Wilson in the playoff run. Like week 16 is his target week. If you have Garrett Wilson or Breece Hall, that is awesome because you know what Aaron Rodgers is going to do? Hyper target Garrett Wilson.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Breece Hall will actually get decent targets coming out of the backfield. And also why they starting Tim Boyle. Like Salah is not a good coach, and we've started to learn that. He's bad
Offensively, no.
He's a leader of men, but poor decision making.
I would agree with that. He's more, he's more of a defensive guy. But just the decision to stick with Zach Wilson for as long as he did, and then to stick with Tim Boyle next week.
When you have Trevor Siemian ready, you
What?
could have signed Carson Wentz.
They could have signed Joe Flacco back.
Yeah, Joe Flacco, who looked good, 300-yard games with Joe Flacco.
This is very, very true. Now he's a Cleveland Brown. Maybe he gets a shot. We'll talk about that later. All right, let's talk about Joe Burrow. He underwent wrist surgery on Monday. It looks like he is expected to make a full recovery and be healthy for the 2024 season. We saw the Bengals today obviously struggle without Macaulay Culkin at quarterback. So that was sad to see. We'll talk a little bit about more of that later. And then for Monday night, Vikings wide receiver Justin Jefferson and his hamstring is questionable for week 12 against the Bears. He's got 3 limited practices in. Supposedly he's been able to go full speed at practice. The Vikings need to win some games here to stay in the playoff picture. Tyler, what are your inside reporters from up there in Minnesota telling you about Justin Jefferson's chances to play on Monday night?
So one of the best reporters here in Minnesota, Paul Charchian, has said that he has heard inside the building that unless he gets a full-blown practice, he's not playing. They want him at full capacity at practice, and until then, he's not playing. So Monday, I highly doubt he goes. But I do think the next week, week 13, he has a
He'll
bye.
be on bye. Yeah. So, week
14 is probably the week.
So if you
Makes a
got
lot
him,
of sense.
hope you make the playoffs and you're ready to go.
Yeah.
Which would be
'cause-
that'd be the smartest plan. And
Yeah.
Vikings, if you guys don't know, need the bye week. They are hurt everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
Hawkinson needs a break. Dobbs is getting hit like crazy. Madison's had, a bunch of hits. They need a break.
I gotta figure this light out. Yes, I agree. Hold on,
Addison
I'm gonna be
can't
like a
found.
lighthouse.
They need to
over here.
find Jordan Addison soon. Like, that's big time for the bye week. They need to go out, search for him. Search party, Minnesota. Where's Jordan Addison?
Driving fast somewhere, I've heard.
On his way to Las Vegas Boulevard.
You don't know? Oh God, no, we're not doing that. Let's keep it moving. So some injuries this week. Not a lot. It was actually a relatively quiet week, which is always a good thing this late in the season, as it gets harder and harder to fill lineups because it's a mash unit, especially at the quarterback position. But Browns wide receiver Amari Cooper was taken to the medical tent in the fourth quarter of Week 12 against the Broncos with a rib injury. X-rays were negative. Also in that Browns-Broncos game, quarterback Dorian Thompson-Robinson was taken to the medical tent in the third quarter against the Broncos for a concussion. Also with a concussion this week was Chris Olave. And then Rashid Shaheed left the second quarter with a thigh injury. So those are the major injuries. Nothing crazy from an injury standpoint. Cooper Kupp played, but he was not 100%. He was more of a Cooper decoy.
Yeah.
Cooper, fourth a cup.
A cup of decoy.
He was a full cup of Joe decoy. It was, you start him probably, but yeah, that's
Cooper cup of decoy.
Never. You know what's not a decoy or a fugazi or a fugazi if you say it? It's the products at Trophy Smack. They are absolutely awesome. They've got some Black Friday and Cyber Monday deals going on right now, so make sure you check out that. I think they have 20% off custom belts, if I remember correctly, like 40% off of wall artwork. Lots of cool stuff, and you can still use code DHHRing and get a free $60 championship ring with the purchase of a trophy or a belt. Oh, and they think they have a discount on loser stuff too. So we all love the losers of your league. So if you want to buy them something to, embarrass them publicly, those things are also on sale with Trophy Smack right now. I believe through Cyber Monday, so you get another day and a half or so to jump on those deals over at Trophy Smack. Want to give them a shout out, being our longest standing sponsor and just providing us with awesome products. Love the draft boards too. So when you think about your drafts coming up next year for your redraft, think about Trophy Smack. The boards are awesome. Love them. So shout out to TrophySmack.com. Once again, code DHHRing for that free $60 ring at the checkout. Boys, it was week 12. I want to start with my team because it'll only take 2 seconds. The Patriots, what a joke. What an absolute joke. They could have tied the game with no time left against James's Giants. They miss a chip shot field goal to lose the game.
On purpose.
Yeah. But I will say this. Mac Jones benched at the half. He had 2 turnovers. He fumbled,
3.
but he didn't fumble it away. They recovered it.
He had 3 interceptions.
Did he? No, he had 2.
I thought it was 3.
Zappy had 1.
Are you sure?
Oh, man, are you going to fight over it? They both
who
stunk.
cares? He got benched at the half.
2
Zappy
picks. Zappy had 1.
came in, led a scoring drive, and Ramondre looked really, really good today, and so did Zeke. The running game looked good, but Demario Douglas went out with a concussion, probably, which if it is a concussion, it's his second one of the season. And they just don't have playmakers. Devontae Parker showed a little bit of life, but he's still a zombie. No thanks. So it's Ramondre and log out for the Pats. The season's over. I don't think they win another game. You heard it here first. Stick a fork in them. They're done.
Yeah.
The turkey's dry. You took it out. You left it in way too long.
Yeah, they just cut into it and it went.
Just like Belichick. He's been there way too long. His
Dusted.
stay is overdue. Rumors have he's going to the Chargers. And I don't know how I feel about
Commanders is another one they've been talking about.
I feel like the Chargers is almost locked, is what I'm hearing from a lot of people. And like Scheffler has hinted at it, and there's been
Tony
other people.
Scheffler, the old tight end, or Adam Schefter?
Tony Scheffler.
Okay, you said Scheffler, so I just want to
Scheffler.
clarify your sources
You
here.
were correct.
Okay.
I actually have him as a source. So
Tony Scheffler, nice.
Weird. Yeah.
I rostered him in leagues back in the day.
No, he's gave hints that it is them, and also Herbert seems like a guy that could be coached by Belichick. So I'm not worried about that aspect, like how they're like, oh, Caleb Williams to the Patriots. No, like he's not a Belichick guy. Drake May, on the other hand, would be a Belichick type guy. But yeah, it'll be interesting. But once again, I just think Belichick has overstayed his stay in the NFL altogether, and I think it's just for that record which is sad.
Yes. Did you ever love it when your wife orders something on like a website and then it's like, oh, can you pick this up in a town that's 25 minutes away after she ordered it? Hey, can you pick this up tomorrow or Tuesday? Yeah, it's only an hour round trip out of the way. Sure, for sure. I would love to spend my time and do
that's
that.
Nothing, yeah.
Hey, that's a podcast.
Yeah, you could throw on this podcast.
Yep.
That is true.
Yeah.
I can relive all the highlights and the lowlights.
I mean, speaking of highlights in this matchup with the Patriots, I'll say one thing only about my team. Make it fair, nice and even. Jalen Hyatt starting to look really well on the field. 5 for 108, 109 today. Had a big play.
Scotia over 100.
109.
Yeah. And yes, it's Tommy DeVito. Let's not overreact here. But
I mean, let's not underreact though, because nobody expects anything from DeVito, and yet he's getting the playmakers the ball, which
He's
is
not
what you
turning
need
it
to
over.
do.
Today he had a couple of fumbles. He had 2 fumbles, 1 fumble lost, but no interceptions in the same, back-to-back weeks. So that's important.
You know what DeVito's doing is he is making his case to be a backup in the NFL.
He's a sponge. He soaks up all the sacks.
Yeah, he's a poor man's.
He's like Tyler's
Howell.
face.
He's a poor man's Sam Howell.
Maybe
What a
they just keep him
sponge.
around when Daniel Jones comes back, just to like every play that they're like, oh wait, it's
Is
gonna
Da-
be a blitz.
wait.
Tommy, come here, Tommy.
Is Daniel
Sit
Jones
here
coming
and
back?
soak
Is
this
that
up.
confirmed? Is Daniel Jones coming back?
I hope not, but
I don't think he should, but
contractually
They might not have a
speaking,
choice.
oh,
Yeah, they really
contracts they don't have a choice.
You know
He's-
what? I don't want to hear that because they moved Wentz. They've moved Matt Ryan. These
Yep.
immovable contracts get moved. It's possible.
Matthew Stafford, Jared
They probably just
Goff.
have to give up
Yeah.
some picks to go with it, and some team will be like, "Burby dur, we'll
You
take
know,
'em."
I want to do a little fun game here, and let's go over the NFL quarterbacks real quick because we are big time in the Superflex. Quarterbacks has been a shit show this year, so let's go through the teams and we'll say already as a starter or we'll get one next year. So Ravens, Chargers playing right now. They have their starters. Bengals, Steelers. Bengals, Burrow.
Bengals are
got
fine.
paid.
Steelers.
Steelers, I think they look to invest.
Mhm.
You do, even after
Yeah.
Pickett's quote unquote big game for Kenny
It was a
Pickett.
big game. Like I said, he didn't throw any touchdowns. So yeah,
Again,
Thanks.
so they beat the Bengals, but the Bengals didn't have Joe Burrow. They would have gotten destroyed by
Didn't have
the
T.
Bengals.
Higgins either.
Yeah. Jags and Texans, of course, they have their guys.
They're good. Yeah.
Buccaneers and Colts. Richardson for the Colts.
Colts are good. The Buccaneers
Buccaneers.
might stick with Baker, but it depends on where they end up with a pick.
I
Okay.
agree with that, and it's funny that you bring this up on the day that I wrote down the note next to Tampa Bay. Well, let me just go to
Tampa Bakers.
Tampa Bakers. I mean, has Baker done enough? And that's what I wrote. Has Baker done enough
Yes
to stay
and no.
next season? Yes and no. I
That
think
defense
you have a
doesn't
lot of players in that and on that team that are going to start aging out.
I agree with Doug.
And
If they
and
had
I
a
think
secondary,
he could be a journeyman kind of
Journey.
not a journeyman, like a bridge quarterback. I think
If-
Baker Bridge is starting to be built down Tampa Bay.
if they had a secondary, the Buccaneers would be in better position right now, but they don't. So
Yeah,
Yeah,
no.
they can't.
that's
You
why
know, they played this one without Jamel Dean today.
Baker can't play
It
from
shows.
behind that much. That's the
No.
issue. So, all right, let's go Saints Falcons. I'll give you my Falcons. No, they don't have their quarterback at all.
I don't think the Saints
No.
do either.
No,
Saints don't either.
Jameis.
Are they stuck in that contract? Yes.
Jameis,
Trade him for Daniel Jones.
Patriots,
Trade him
Giants.
for Mac Jones.
Patriots
Oh,
or
God.
and Giants.
No.
No for both.
No.
Panthers, Titans.
I'm going to say yes.
To both?
'Cause, well, the Panthers aren't going to move on from the 101 after 1 year.
No.
So, and Levis, I'll tell you what. He had a weird game last week. He was actually pretty good, but the stats were just strange. Their time of possession and all sorts of things were weird. I think Levis has looked pretty good. I think that they're probably going to roll with him on a second-round rookie pick.
Yeah, I think
Contract?
Levis stays. I
think
I
Levis
agree
stays.
there.
I agree. They
And
they have
who
a
was the
lot
other
of
one?
holes. Bryce Young.
Yeah, he's there.
Mhm.
He did throw a pick today. That's good news.
Yeah.
All right, next is the Rams and Cardinals.
Didn't throw a touchdown either.
Rams and
Rams and Cardinals. Kyler, I believe he's there. He wouldn't be on the
I
field right
believe
now if
they
he
are
wasn't.
going. I 100% agree. I think Kyler's their quarterback, and they do take Harrison if he's available at 2.
The Rams?
Matthew Stafford, I think he stays.
It's an interesting team. They just seem to be right in the middle.
I think they
where it's
draft
like,
someone,
They're
but I
in the
think he
playoff
stays.
hunt.
So you don't think Stetson Bennett comes back when he's 28 years
Will
old?
you stop with that?
What year is it?
It's a serious question, Doug. All right.
Can
let's
we
go
now keep rookie
Browns and
quarterbacks on
Broncos.
our taxi slots for 8 years?
Browns and
Browns and
Broncos.
Broncos? I
That's
mean,
an interesting one.
Yes and yes.
Browns are stuck. I mean, there ain't no way they're.
I mean, the
getting out of-
Denver Broncos kind of are too.
I think they're stuck too as well, and I think they're turning their season around a little bit. Their second half of the season has been pretty impressive.
Mhm.
Yeah. Chiefs and Raiders. So Chiefs, of course, yes, but
Yeah.
Raiders.
Aiden O'Connell,
O'Connell showed flashes of being competent, but he's not the future.
no,
He's another guy that's a bridge / backup.
He's a guy. Yeah.
he's a backup. Yeah,
Yeah.
And Bills and Eagles, I think, both have their guy.
Oh,
All right,
yeah.
let's go to
Cement
Thursday.
shoes.
Go to Thursday and the Black Friday game, which I thought was not great. Packers and Lions.
Yes. They're both good.
yes.
Yeah,
I think
Jordan
Love has showed enough, and he's starting to come around. It's the last 2 games have been very, very good for Jordan Love.
He's
So
playing smarter, making smart throws,
Yeah.
hanging on to the ball,
getting a
I
little
feel-
bit more rapport with his boys.
I feel like the biggest thing with Love is he's rolling out of the pocket a little more, and he's hanging on to the ball that extra split second to let his receiver get a little more open instead of throwing it to the defender. Commanders and Cowboys. Cowboys, I think they have to sign Dak. He's had an outstanding season.
I think yes to both.
You think
I think
agree.
Howell is the quarterback there.
So I was listening to a radio station today here locally, and they're talking about Howell, and the guy who was I forgot his name. He was talking. He goes, a lot of people think Howell's not the answer, but he's like league leader in yards. He's one of
They
the
haven't
better
had a bye,
passer.
I'm sure.
And they're talking like he's taken the most sacks. Like, could
Mhm.
you? And they even can't. They're like, what if this guy had time to throw? Could you imagine how good he could be?
Mm-hmm.
So that brought a huge point to the front of the crowd for me. And yeah, I think both of them have their quarterback. And 49ers.
Especially when you can take a late quarterback contract and build around him for the next handful of years, you have
Yeah.
to take that shot. Like, yeah.
49ers Seahawks. 49ers, Purdy's the guy.
Geno's
Purdy's
not
the
the
guy
guy.
as long as Shanahan's there.
Geno.
And no, Geno is
Geno.
not the guy. He has 1 year left on his contract.
This is why I moved on from like guys like Josh Dobbs this year. Like he's riding the hot hand, but
I
Josh
think-
Dobbs could be a starter somewhere next year and totally Geno Smith this shit.
Yeah.
Like 100%.
Dolphins and Jets. So Jets.
Dolphins are good.
We'll say Aaron Rodgers. Is
Jets.
Jets.
Rodgers
Yeah,
for at
Rodgers
least 1
ain't
more
going
year.
anywhere. Yeah.
And Bears and Vikings. Fields and Dobbs and Cousins. We'll put Cousins in. No, we won't
I'll
put
put
Cousins in there.
I'll
We'll
put
put
Cousins on the bubble and say Dobbs is there next season.
I
hands
think the
down.
Bears with 2 top 5 picks should stick with Justin Fields.
I agree.
I don't
I
know
think they
that they
trade
will.
one of those picks. They trade back in this draft.
They will.
I-
yeah.
So they have tons of options. They could trade Fields for a first, or they could trade the 101 for.
There's gonna be I'm not to cut you off, but there's gonna be plenty of teams in that teen range that could use a quarterback. Like the Falcons could end up in there, Tampa,
Giants.
Giant. All these teams could end up in that
Top
range,
10.
and Justin Fields becomes a very desirable asset for that draft capital, in my opinion.
I honestly think if the Falcons don't approach Fields, everybody needs to be fired. Like if they don't go this offseason and go, hey, we'll give you our first for Fields. If they don't even approach them, I'm annoyed. I can't stand it because they're a quarterback
Ritter's
away.
not it.
They're a quarterback away. They have all the weapons and everything. And we'll talk about Pitts later because that is one of my main things on the docket. But all right, last Vikings we went over. All right. Well, I do want to talk about Pitts while we're there.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's roll right into the Atlanta game.
So Pitts to me is now like tight end 8. And that's a huge drop for me. I love Pitts, but until either Smith is gone, which if they win this division, Smith is there for a little bit. It's gross, but
Yeah.
and
What's
Pitts,
the cutoff? Like what's the either or? Like Trey McBride or Kyle Pitts?
I'd take McBride right now.
Okay. I feel like that in my head. That's about where the cutoff would
Yeah.
be.
I think
That's a great buy low scenario in my head.
I think I would rather have
Because they
Cole
were
Kmet
one of the
long
teams
term.
that we just mentioned that need a quarterback.
Cole Kmet.
So
is playing better. He got an extension.
Start buying Pitts this offseason.
I mean, yes. Why not? But
Can't sell him.
When are you going to feel comfortable starting him? Like Doug and I have him in a league, and we have to
when they
start
get
him.
a new quarterback.
And but is that going to help with Arthur Smith?
I think so. I think it does.
Jonu's there. I mean, Jonu and Arthur Smith are like best
I think
friends.
Jonu's a free agent at the end of the year, but he could always re-sign on the cheap because he got paid from the Pats. So
Pitts is so interesting because you have this huge breakout rookie year, and you think everything's going to fall into place, and then Arthur Smith is like, nope.
Yeah, he still saying, though, he is in his rookie contract. He is only 23 years old. He was a first-round draft capital, so he's going to be there, I think, longer than Arthur Smith is.
Get him out of Atlanta. And I hate saying that, but I want to see him actually succeed.
You know what would be interesting? You know what I could see a scenario, and I just came in my head because I can see a team like this doing it, looking to be more dynamic at the tight end position. Because I don't know if they signed him long term or not. Could you see a team like the Eagles making a trade for Kyle Pitts?
Yeah.
Ooh.
That's a Howie move.
I'd love it.
Total
That
Howie
is
move.
Love it for
Howie
my
move.
Jalen shares.
And then just throw him in the slot all the time, kind of what they're doing with Julio right now.
Yeah, that would be dangerous. They'd still keep Goddard. Like, all right.
Yeah.
Just imagine. You mean Olamide's and Kia's
or the
could have been
Chiefs.
Kyle Pitts today.
The Chiefs could use playmakers because, yeah.
Yeah, Sky Moore. Every time Sky Moore makes a big play, it's like he won the lottery. He gets up and he's just like, I did it. I finally did it.
They were also without McCole Hardman, Kadarius Toney, no McKinnon. So, like, Sky Moore had to catch passes today. He didn't have much of an
Caught all
option.
three of them.
Hey, Rasheed Rice went off.
Yeah.
Second
Primary
most
wide
target.
receiver, I think. Yeah.
Travis Kelce finally had a game.
Yeah. Decent game.
They found out how to cover him. And that's my worry with him. They're like,
I mean,
okay,
it's only taken like 10 years, but
it's because they had Tyreek or somebody else on the other side. They had Juju. As much as people harp on Juju, he actually helped that offense last year. They were worried about him in the middle of the field. Now they got literally nobody they're worried about. Maybe Rice comes out of nowhere and is that guy, but they're still not worried about him. So now Kelsey's getting blanket coverage, and then he has like three people eyeballing him at all times.
I think this is the first time that they actually leaned on Rashee Rice a little bit more in the target department, and I think it's going to continue moving forward.
And
I really
has to.
And also, when did CEH just turn into a ball of ham?
Oh my gosh, he was a Thanksgiving leftover that I was like so nervous about.
James, were you and I the one talking about that like last week? I was like, dude, CEH looks like a thick boy now. All of a sudden. Like,
Jalen Tolbert. He's gonna turn into.
He got a little Hawks back there.
I still think he looks decent out of the backfield.
No, bite your tongue, dude.
Pacheco's
Seriously.
the dude. Pacheco
he had
deserves
3 carries today, and he ran for 3 yards.
He got stuffed at the goal line.
And he got stuffed at the goal line twice.
So
meanwhile,
that's what it was. It was stuffing.
It was a little stuffing. That's what
stuffing.
Thanksgiving stuffing, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't help him cross the goal line, which Pacheco came right in and did it. For all of you that don't know, I hit a big anytime touchdown bet this weekend. Pacheco was the last leg that I needed. And I'm like, Pacheco should be in the lineup right now. Where is he? On the sideline. Why is CEH on the goal line? And for a moment there, I'm like,
because he eats
CEH
burgers
could actually pound through here and get this. And then I'm like, no, wait, he can't. Misses 2s back to back. And I'm just like, I see Pacheco in. They called a timeout, and I see Pacheco in.
You know, I know a lot of people give the Patriots crap for their draft picks on offensive skill position players, but the Chiefs deserve a little bit.
They deserve.
They deserve a lot of it.
So yeah. I mean, it looks like they may have hit on Rice, so like we'll see. But like other than that,
and they hit on Pacheco last year. I'll give them that later in the draft.
Yeah,
Pacheco. Okay, scenario: would you rather take $100,000 or have to tackle Isaiah Pacheco 5 times?
Give me the $100,000. That's an easy one.
No, but like you have to tackle
or get
Isaiah
tackled by.
No, you have to tackle him 5 times for $100,000. I worded that wrong.
Oh,
sure. Like,
would you be able to do it?
I'll at least try.
I mean, I don't know. I could probably
You'd
at least
die.
take him down a couple of times.
You die.
I'll put some rocks in my shoes. Maybe I'll stay on the ground. Who knows?
I wouldn't die.
You wouldn't.
No,
I
I'm a
would.
broken individual. I couldn't handle that truck, man.
He is fun to watch though.
All right. Another topic I wanted to hit today. Tank Dell. We put him in the top 10, top 12 dynasty wide receivers.
Not yet.
Not yet.
I'm very close.
He might be in the top 15 for me already.
He makes plays where he shouldn't. And this is the first time a guy his size has done this since Steve Smith, maybe. And
I thought you were going to say Tyreek Hill.
No, hell no. I do not do that. That's not
See,
me.
here's
That's
the
not
thing.
my game.
He's not Steve Smith. Steve Smith was muscular, and Tank Dell is a slight dude. He plays bigger than he is, like for sure.
Then is he Marvin Harrison?
No, because Marv was different. Marv was more finesse. Tank is more physical.
Yeah, Marv was what, 182 at 5'11"?
Yeah, but he was all finesse, route running, clean. Like he didn't really challenge for balls. Like, and he couldn't take big hits. Harrison.
Yeah, he doesn't.
Tank can
challenge
take
the
some
balls
contact.
like James does.
It's true. With his lawnmower 4.0. Shout out to Manscaped.
No, he's an odd comp because I agree he doesn't have the crazy arm length that you would see from a short guy that can go up and get it.
No.
His vertical's fine. He's got a decent vertical, but nothing crazy like a 40-inch vertical like Tyreek had. And yeah, he's an interesting guy, but he just seems to have a connection, has a knack for being where he needs to be, and him and Stroud growing together could be a lethal combo. And that's where I'm putting him at. Like, he's got to be higher than 15 for me. And we talked about Zach earlier. He has him in UDPL. At week 3, I tried. Doug, you know when I need a guy and I try and I won't stop?
You just badger the shit out of people?
I
Yes,
did that
I know
to
that.
Zach, and Zach is
told me.
He's one of the only people that knows how to deflect it.
Yeah.
He just straight up ignores me.
Which drives you crazy.
It does, which I just nag him more and more and more, and then he goes, yeah, it ain't happening, so you might as well just stop. So.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it's Tank. I think Tank is great. I've did have a couple of rosters. I traded one to you, Tyler, to get Lamar Jackson. I'm still okay with that deal.
Yeah, me too, because I needed receiver depth, and
I just needed to get away from Deshaun Watson at all costs. I feel so much better. I feel so much cleaner and fresh, and like, I got Lamar instead of Deshaun Watson, especially how the season ended up. Yeah, I don't feel bad with Tank. I would say Tank around 15 is probably accurate. Would you so I know the hot name at the beginning of the season was Puka Nacua. Would you do Puka Nacua or Tank Dell?
I think I'd rather have Tank.
Okay.
That was a huge topic throughout all the podcasts I really listened to this week, was that exact question.
Was it really? Yeah, I haven't listened to any pods this week. So
they're talking about those two guys and who would you rather have, and it was very close for a lot of people because I still like Puka, but
Tank's got that ceiling
and
that Puka doesn't have.
The explosive plays for sure, and he's got the quarterback that is fine throwing downfield
And the draft capital.
Yeah, that's true. Oh,
Yeah.
that was fun. I like those. Let me see. What else do you guys want to talk about?
Cedric Tillman? We got in the chat,
Tillman.
Mondo. Cedric Tillman breakout. Let's go. I've been waiting for Cedric Tillman ever since they traded Donovan Peoples-Jones. Tillman has been playing a ton of snaps, and
4 for 55.
Yeah,
His best game this year.
I mean, I'll take that. I think I loved Cedric Tillman coming out of Tennessee. Was it? Coming out of Tennessee, I liked Tillman. And whenever you watched Hyatt tape, Hyatt popped off when Tillman wasn't in there, and Tillman was the stud, right? So I like Tillman's game quite a bit. And as soon as they traded Donovan Peoples-Jones, I was like, all right, it's Cedric Tillman's season, whatever that means. Obviously, they're on their third string, fourth string quarterback. Like, if he has games like this with a second, third, and fourth string quarterback, I'm okay with it. It'll be interesting going into next year, when Deshaun Watson's back, what that might look like. Cedric Tillman for me is a guy that I'm looking to acquire on the cheap because I really like the talent and I like his profile. So he's a guy that I can try to get into deals still. This isn't a true breakout game. It's like, he's in the stat box, cool, but he didn't break out.
Yeah, I was going to mention that too.
Yeah,
I was going to mention that too, Doug. Like, he broke out today on parentheses
by catching footballs.
Catching footballs when there were nobody else there to catch footballs. Amari Cooper was banged up in this one. He left early.
Elijah Moore got a little dinged up at the end.
And let it be known that PJ Walker was the guy throwing him the ball, those targets, not necessarily Dorian Thompson-Robinson either.
Yeah, so it was nice to see Tillman pop a little bit. So
Josh
keep an eye on that.
Downs. Josh Downs had 13 targets. There's another rookie receiver that is still on the buy list. That if you're out there and the trade deadline hasn't passed, man, that is.
He was trending up, super up, and then he got hurt, and then he's been a little quiet since. But yeah, I really like him. That fit in that offense is really, really good. I think here's what I will say this. I think next year we could see the type of connection that we see with Stroud and Dell could be very much Richardson and Downs.
Yeah.
Maybe not to the extent, the success, but I could see those two guys come into the league together and build a really nice rapport. And then Pittman is like the Nico Collins, which he's still a startable asset, a player that I still like a lot. You know, Nico went over 100 for the first time since week 4 this week, which was good. He's finally getting healthy again. So I could see that next year as Downs and Richardson being that big connection in year 2 that we're seeing with Stroud and Dell in year 1.
With that being said, Downs or Zay Flowers?
I think I'd do Zay.
I'll take Zay just because he's more talented.
Okay.
First round pick, and also
he's got the draft capital, but
I think
a lot
Downs
of it
is I think Pittman resigns with the Colts.
Okay.
And I think that Beckham, despite him having a resurgence lately, I think his time is numbered. I think he does have a time clock. So when Zay
biological.
When Zay happens, when his time happens, it will happen big. Another player I really want to keep my eyes on is Xavier Hutchinson. He reminds me a lot of Jacoby Myers.
Finally caught one today, huh?
Yeah, like Jacoby Myers and him have a similar build, similar style of play. So I want to keep an eye on that. Robert Woods, not sure how long he's there. Noah Brown, I think, signed a 1-year deal. So
Someone might pay Noah Brown.
Yeah.
I think Noah Brown, who's honestly only 26 years old, everybody.
Shout out to Riley Bymaster, biggest Noah Brown fan ever.
Yeah. I mean, he'd look great in Atlanta, not catching passes. So never mind. Don't do that.
Take Van Jefferson's job. What?
Speaking of catching passes, Drake London, congrats. You're on the rise. You looked awesome today.
I am glad.
Still needs
Drake
a QB.
London, a couple of weeks ago, I made some deals and I traded for London in one league, the league that Tyler and I are in. And it cost me, at first I had to think about it. I was like, all right, it's going to cost me Joe Mixon and Christian Kirk. The way my team was going, I'm like, I want to get younger. I'm like, you know what? I'll take Drake London to go with Garrett Wilson and Jamar Chase in a dynasty league. Like, give me the Utes. And I wanted to get out. Here's the thing. I wanted to get out of Mixon before the wheels fell off like they did with Dalvin Cook, because I could see that happening in this offseason. Mm-hmm. Like, Mixon gets cut by the Bengals, floats around for a while, gets picked up by somebody, and then doesn't do anything.
Yeah, he actually got lucky with a big run today to save his week.
It was a catch and run, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I do want to talk about another running back that
we have to.
Travis Etienne. What are you guys doing with him this offseason?
Selling.
I knew this was coming.
Yeah, I'm selling.
Tyler traded for Travis Etienne.
Hey, if he helps me win,
selling.
If he helps me win, I got 2 20-point weeks from him, so no, that's not true.
That's true.
All right,
so I have him in redraft, and I'm not happy.
He needs touches.
His yards per carry is very disturbing. It's not about the touches. Yeah, he had 20 touches today.
Touchdowns.
Oh, his touchdowns? Yeah, they all came between the weeks of 5 and 7. And that was the 6.
The last 3 weeks, he's been like single-digit fantasy football scoring. And
it's really, really bad.
13 points.
Yeah, barely. He barely cracked double digits.
Thanks to the 4 catches for 30 yards.
Yeah.
They've been using Dearness Johnson a lot.
Yes.
They've been trying to squeeze him in. Is Tank Bigsby hurt?
No, he's
refueling.
He's refueling.
Yeah.
The tank needs fuel.
But no, Travis Etienne, I think we've seen it enough to where the fact that, yes, he's not going anywhere in the offense, but I believe we've seen his ceiling. They bring in ancillary pieces to round out the backfield. He's not hitting more than 3.5 yards per carry. That's very disturbing. However,
I lose it,
somehow he's running back 3 on the season.
Well, running back's just that ugly. I will give you a comp for a current player that reminds me of Travis Etienne. It's Ken Walker.
Oh,
buoyed by big plays, because Etienne gets a lot of his points on big plays. Mm-hmm. Averages 3.5 to 4 yards a carry. Has volume, but has other guys involved in the backfield now, especially with Dearness Johnson. You can probably pick up for free in some dynasty leagues. He's been getting carries. And then Tank Bigsby. So for me, at this moment in time, he just reminds me of Ken Walker.
All right. The next little
good
game we're going to
comp.
play. We're going to play 2 more. We got about 15 minutes or so.
I like
Um,
games.
So
Yeah,
I'm going
I
to go
like
through
games.
every team's running back, and I'm going to name the running back, and you tell me if you're going to try to buy them or sell them. Just quick
Let's
answers.
do it.
Ravens. Now, I'm not going to give you the typical answer. Keaton Mitchell.
Sell.
Sell.
Chargers. Austin Eckler. This should be easy.
Sell.
If you're competing,
He looks slow.
yeah, I would sell.
Sell.
Steelers. Now, we know the Bengals, so
Which
I'm not
one?
going to mention them. I'm going to go both. So, first, Najee.
Buy.
Okay.
I'm going to buy Najee because the price is pretty not bad.
Very low, actually.
It's the lowest it's probably been, so yeah, I can agree
And I
with
would
that
probably
to an extent.
sell Jalen
Jalen
Warren.
Warren.
I would.
Early second, late first would be Jalen Warren's price.
Really?
That's my guess.
I'm selling
Early
at that price.
second, I'm selling.
I'm selling. I mean, you might be able to get the RB1 in this class with a late
If it
first,
was like a
early
late second,
like,
maybe.
If
I
he
might
keeps
be
up
okay
with the
with the late
PPR
second.
production towards the end of the year, that's
The
gonna
only
be his
the only
price.
thing that's great about Jalen Warren, and we could pause this game real fast. Like, if Najee goes down, Warren can handle the workload.
But I don't think he can. That's what we mentioned that earlier, so it all depends on your flavor. All right, Jacksonville. We talked about Travis Etienne. Texans. Let's go Singletary.
Sell.
Sell him.
Damian Pierce.
Sell him.
He's dead.
I'd maybe.
I don't think both of them are back next year.
Well, Pierce will be on
Pierce
the team.
will be there. I would buy if the price was right on Pierce. I'd kick tires.
Okay, that's not a bad move.
No.
Rashad White. Please don't say buy because he is.
He's not a
expensive.
buy. He's a
No,
sell.
I would hold. I mean,
You'd hold if you could get like a mid to late first, which is honestly.
I mean,
probably
it
what he's
obviously
worth.
depends. Like I have Rashad White in some
are you
teams, but
giving
I'm
the
a win
price
now.
with us?
So.
And he's already 24 years old.
He's probably worth a late first at the least.
In this market, you're probably right. So
You're
I'd
probably
sell.
right. He's a top 10 running back this year. He's going to get all the work for the rest of the season. Yeah, if you can get rid of him. Yeah,
Jonathan
I don't think
Taylor.
I'm buying him. I'm selling him.
Jonathan
Rashad.
Taylor.
I feel his price is still down, so I would buy.
I think his price is way up.
I
Way
think his
up?
price is back
Way
up.
It's
After
back
the
up, but not where it
performance.
was.
It's not exactly where it was,
It's
but
top
I think
five already.
I'm holding.
I'd kick tires. I'd kick tires on
Yeah.
it and see what the price is.
Alvin Kamara.
Sell him.
He's a buy if you're a contender.
Well, yeah, obviously you just bought him. Spoiler alert.
So Alvin Kamara, sell.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, if you're not
We'll
competing
just
this
talk
year,
in general, dynasty in general.
Sell in
So,
general.
sell in
Okay.
general.
Bijan, running back one.
Hold.
Hold.
That's not a choice. Buy or sell.
Oh, well, I'm not buying.
I'm not buying at that price.
Yeah, I think I'd
I never
sell.
buy a running back when they have the RB1. You know this.
100%.
Yeah.
Let's go Ramondre.
I'd buy Ramondre. I think he's going to be the only steady thing in that offense going
and
forward.
I'd sell him to you.
Barkley.
Sell.
So
Buy.
Yeah.
He has juice still, and you can tell.
yeah, I agree
So-
with that. But what are
and
you?
he's
What are
a
you
free
buying?
agent.
Like,
He's a free agent.
he's not going anywhere.
Do you know that?
Yeah,
They still got Daniel Jones on the books. They got
I know
some
that.
pay. They got some pain they got to do.
Oh.
All
We'll
right.
see.
Let's go. Do I dare? Let's go Chuba.
I mean, if you need a cheap, productive running back, buy. Because the price isn't very high.
yeah, he's
We're
a cheap
selling
buy.
Sanders, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if you can.
And instead
What are you
of
selling him for? I
Derrick
wouldn't
Henry,
sell
we,
Sanders.
Derrick
Absolutely
Henry,
not.
Derrick Henry, we all agree is a sell. But let's go Tajay Spears.
Buy.
Oh, absolute buy.
Bye. Bye.
Buy.
Bye. This one's gonna be interesting. Kyron Williams.
My heart says sell.
I sold too soon.
I was thinking about it, and Yeah, he's a sell now, guys.
He seems replaceable to me.
What can you get? Yeah, that's why I'm like, he is
The
kind of
issue-
replaceable. 6th-round draft pick. Yeah.
Fifth
I
round.
mean-
Have some respect.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I was the one that was in love with Kyron Williams in the
I know,
offseason
yeah.
last year.
He's a Notre Dame running back. I'm not allowed to love them because I love them too much.
I love Julius.
And then they don't perform.
CJ
Yeah.
Pro size.
So you didn't love Kyron enough. You sold too early, and now you're regretting it.
I sold for an early second to somebody.
Okay, and now you can get pretty much a
Probably-
mid first.
Yeah. James Conner. This is a buy.
I don't think you can sell him for much. So
I don't think you can get much. Yeah, I mean,
So I'd buy.
if you need an extra piece, you can buy him.
Mhm.
Ooh,
I
this is gonna
sold
be
him
interesting.
early this year.
Jerome Ford.
Buy.
Yeah, I agree. He looks
I-
explosive.
He does look good.
I don't
yeah,
buy
think
too
Jerome
many
Ford
running
can buy.
backs, but I think Jerome Ford is a buy.
Javonte Williams.
Mhm.
Buying.
I still believe in the talent, and he's looked good.
I think
know
his
he got a
value
little
has
he got a
gone
little
down.
dinged up today,
Yeah.
but I would buy Javante still.
Yeah, his
All right,
value
Isaiah-
has gone down since
Isaiah
this
Pacheco.
season.
Sell.
I'm selling him if I can. I've gotten offers. I've fielded offers. No one wants to pay the late first, which I'm upset about, and I can't let him go for that reason.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Josh Jacobs.
Jacobs.
Jinx.
You owe me a Coke.
I think the price is down on Jacobs. He looked good again today. He's a free agent as well. I would probably buy. I would
I'm
pay a
with you.
second for Jacobs. I don't know if I'd pay a first.
He's in the same area with Barkley with me.
I'm afraid that Josh Jacobs turns into Miles Sanders.
Oh, that's bad. That's bad
Mm.
voodoo on there. Yeah.
It's just.
I don't think. Here's the thing. Josh
not
Jacobs.
not necessarily the player, but the type of situation. Gets a nice new contract with a new organization that can't block.
But Josh Jacobs also led the league in rushing behind a shit offensive line, and Miles Sanders was good with a very good offensive line. So I think that the more talented player, far and away, is Josh Jacobs.
Yep.
And he can catch passes out of the backfield, which Miles Sanders just has never really done, except for the
Jake,
1 year. he had
Jacobs,
50 picks.
I think the offseason he had, Jacobs was hurt by because he did not look like he was in the greatest shape at the early beginning of the year. And now I feel like he's starting to get his legs a little more. And that's been noted by a lot of podcasters that, he didn't look like he was in the best shape.
Yeah, he's got that. He had that juice today.
Yeah. So I agree. I think him and Barkley are definitely in the same spot for me. If you're a late first and you're a contender, oh yeah, I'm giving up that first.
Brian Robinson, sell.
Yeah, we'll get there. Bills, James Cook. He's getting used in the passing game a lot lately.
I think his value has gone down.
I think his price is an early second.
I would pay an early second.
I think I would pay that too.
All right. Eagles. Let's go. Swift.
I don't know if he's going to be there next year.
I think his value.
I already sold him.
I'm selling.
His value is probably a late first.
I sold him for the
actually bought
201.
and sold him in the same season already.
Which I was going to say early second. I think he's around James Cook area for price.
Yeah, I sold him for the 201 in next year's draft. So
all right,
that's fair.
Mondo in the chat
good
said
price.
Kendre Miller, which is a good player to talk about.
I mean, if they
Kendre
move on
Miller.
from Kamara, I mean, they're eventually those Saints contracts. They just kick down the road every year.
Kamara's
At some
there for
point,
another year.
At some point, they're either going to restructure Kamara like the Packers did with Jones and the Bengals
Yeah.
did with Mixon. So it's either going to be, hey, you can restructure or we're going to get rid of you. So Kendre Miller could be a huge buy. I agree with that.
Yeah, he's a buy. He's definitely not a sell. You're not getting anything for
He
him.
just hasn't been healthy this year, which is
Yeah.
not great.
It's unfortunate, but that's the whole story with Kendre Miller.
All right, let's go to the Packers, and I'm not going to talk Aaron Jones. I'll talk AJ Dillon.
Sell.
Hey, sell him.
What are you
If
going to
can
get
get
for
anything
him?
for him?
All right, now we'll just move on. I'll do both Lions running backs. Let's go Montgomery.
I still think his price is cheap,
Probably mid to early second.
and he
If
scores
it's a
touchdowns.
mid to early second,
buy.
I'm buying.
Okay. And Gibbs, which
Gibbs
is
is
a mid to early first.
Yeah,
Plus.
it's
I'm selling at that.
selling at that level, and that's what you'd have to pay for.
He's
him,
what, the
so.
Dynasty RB3 right now, probably?
3 or so.
Yeah, I'd sell.
All right, let's go Brian Robinson.
Sell him.
Gibson.
Sell
Buy.
him.
He's gonna be a free agent. I still like his skill
I
set.
like him. Yeah, I agree.
I would buy it. He's dirt cheap.
Tony Pollard. Bye-bye.
Sell him if you can. Depends on what you get for him
first.
If
we talked
if
about
you're getting a late first, I'm okay with getting rid of Pollard.
Yeah,
for that.
we talked about Thunder and Lightning earlier. Which players were we just talking about? I wanted to make the comp that they remind me of Zeke and Pollard, like the way that they complement each other. And I can't remember who it was, but anyway.
Okay.
I would sell.
All right. Let's go Christian McCaffrey. That's an interesting one.
I think he's always a sell.
He's right there.
I think he's
28.
Yeah.
If I'm not in the playoffs, you have to sell.
Yeah. Obviously, if you're not competing, he probably shouldn't be on your roster right now.
Yeah, I would say so.
We would all say that. So
because this might be the peak return you're going to get in this window.
You're not getting anything better, and if you're not winning this year or next year, sell him.
We have always cited McCaffrey as staying power, but we always thought the carries would go down and the catches would go up. But the carries have not gone down.
He's been toting the rock a ton.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Seahawks. Let's go Ken Walker.
His price is high. I'm
price
selling.
Is
I'll buy
high.
Charbonnet though.
Yep.
I'll sell and buy Charbonnet.
Charbonnet is the buy for me too. And last two teams, Breece Hall.
I'm still buying Breece because I know his dynasty price is like RB4 or 5.
Yep.
You could buy.
He's got the talent to be the RB1 in
If
dynasty.
I've got Jonathan Taylor, I'm seeing if I could get plus for Breece, or if I have to add a little to go.
Yeah. I did that last year.
Breece. And the last team will go Devon Achane. This is probably the hardest one because he has all the ability to be.
He's got first round draft capital already.
My heart tells me to sell.
He's probably, if I would have to put a price on him, 106 in this draft if we're going super flex.
You know what? I'm buying Devon Achane. That offense is going to change next year. We're not going to see Raheem Mostert in it. Yes, they will probably have another backup situation, but I think it's Devon Achane moving forward. And I think, although we have seen him peak as far as production on a single game basis, I don't think we have seen a full season of him yet, and I think his value continues to grow.
All right. Since that one ran a little long, that was a fun game. Next week, I will go through each team, and I will ask you one buy from each team.
Okay.
That was my next game. But we'll do a little buy and sell next week. How's that sound?
That was fun. Yeah,
I dig that. I like buys. I like buys and sells.
I don't like that keep trade cut so much, but I like the buy or sell.
Yeah.
I dig it. Any other observations we got from this week that we wanted to point out?
It's good seeing the stud quarterbacks play well because we haven't seen it much this year. We're not seeing it Sunday night either in the Ravens-Chargers game. Staley needs to get fired as soon as possible. Kellen Moore coming over to the Chargers has not helped this offense one bit. It's just
and look what the Cowboys offense has been doing under McCarthy.
Yeah, and it makes you think okay, maybe Kellen Moore would have been one of those coaches that was a one and done.
Yeah.
Oh, I made a trade this week for I got rid of Adam Thielen.
Good timing.
Nice.
224 thirds.
220. Okay, that's fair.
Okay, yeah.
For a guy that's got 1 foot in the casket, that's great.
Yeah, I was. And you know what? I was stringing him along. I got offered. I think it was like a fourth and a third. And I said, no, I want the extra third. I don't want the fourth. I want the 2/3.
Yeah,
That's worth the price. That's the price. And I walked away. And sure enough,
cash that ticket.
Like a week later, cashed it in.
Yeah, I got Cole Kmet for him right after a massive game, and
nice.
Doug's in. And I needed tight end bad because I had Pitts as my starter, so it was a massive trade, perfect timing. It's always fun to get those trades. I know we have a lot of trade deadlines that have passed, which stinks because now my mind is just going crazy with all these I should go get Jalen Hyatt really cheap when he's at least obtainable and get these guys. But now it's to the point where it's now I have to watch him rise in value.
You're I should have done this.
Yes, which is the worst. But if you still have the trade deadline open, keep that brain muscle moving and keep working on those trades, because right now is the best time to make trades to get rid of those veterans that you are able to.
I've been able to completely Thanksgiving cleanse my UDPL team. And I feel great. There's not a single. I know. There's not a single trade in that league, and I've made 7 or 8 trades now, Tyler. There isn't
which is
a single...
odd for you. Usually, you're kind of hesitant on the trigger, but this year, it's
no,
just
not
like,
this year. I was like, get rid of these veterans. Give me some youth. Give me some picks. Like, yeah, it's been fun. It's a fun rebuild where I think that I had higher hopes and things didn't work out for me, but I was like, you know what? Let me churn over my older roster and bring in some young talent to build around, and I don't regret any of those trades thus far, so that's always a good thing. And also, sometimes you make trades and you're like, what?
Yes, and that's the worst. And I told you when I made that Kyler deal with Rich, good friend of the show, I thought I was gonna really regret it because I had to give up Richardson, but I told Doug, I'm like, I think I'm starting to be on Kyler's side a little bit. And hey, you guys through text, Doug might deny it, but he said he as well.
I was coming around.
He's coming around on Kyler. So
Kyler's been less of a douche. That was my biggest thing with him. He was a little child.
And the value of Kyler was just so low.
And it's so fun watching him with that football, just pitter-pattering to the end zone every week.
Yeah,
his legs move so fast. I'm not sure what the rate, like the speed rate is, which his legs can move.
They just go in circles. It's like a cartoon.
It's like a cartoon.
Like a cartoon. Callback.
Yeah, that's a callback right there.
If you know, you know.
But no, this has been a fun year. I feel like because past years you kind of just like, oh my God, let's just get to the playoffs. But I feel like the ups and downs of players getting hurt and stuff, they suck, but I look as more of an opportunity for other players like a Dobbs to show his worth. And it's fun to see if you kind of take a step back from fantasy, which I've done a lot this year. It's fun to actually look at a broader view of the NFL and see how fun and how awesome it is.
Mm-hmm. Before we wrap up, Mondo in the chat says Terrace Marshall droppable, and I'm going to answer that no. Although Terrence Marshall could easily become the next Bryan Edwards, it could happen. I still like the talent of Terrace Marshall. I just think the Panthers are a poorly run franchise. He wanted to be traded. They didn't trade him.
We were saying all this bad stuff about Michael Pittman too. Now we're like, oh wow, look at Michael Pittman.
Imagine being in a relationship and be like, I want out, but your girlfriend's like, no. Like that's Terrace Marshall right now. He's like,
he's like,
I want to
go
break
sit
up.
in the corner. You're like,
And Frank Reich's like, I'm sorry, I can't do that.
I can't let you go, Terrace. You're an important piece of this.
All visor coaches, get out of here.
Josh McDaniels especially. Ugh.
Yeah, Frank Reich is now the one. He's a visor coach.
Ooh, visor coach is bad. Belichick, also a visor coach. He has been in the past.
He's got cut off sleeves. But he's also got sleeves under those sleeves. Whoa, mind freak.
Multi-layered sleeves. All right, anything else before we wrap this thing up and get on out of here?
No, I think we're done.
This is good. We should play more games. I like the games.
Yeah, we'll play more games. You're in charge of the games.
Yeah.
Going forward. I did give a shout out to Manscaped earlier. They use code DHH for 20% off. They are running a promo for 25% off for Cyber Monday. So if you missed that deal, you can still use code DHH and save 20% off. The best tool for the most intricate jobs, let's put it that way, on Manscaped. It's an awesome, awesome product, so go check it out. Shout out to Trophy Smack as well as Underdog. We got lots of good stuff going on here at DHH, so make sure you check out all those beautiful sponsors. We're here every Sunday. We'll be here next week right around 9 Eastern to talk about Week 13. It's a big bye week for your fantasy leagues. It's a pivotal week before you go into the playoffs. You've got the Ravens off, the Vikings off. There's another couple teams I think that are off too on Week 13. Chicago. They got some fantasy relevant players, so it's gonna be a little bit of a tough one. But you know what I'm looking forward to? A full slate of 1 o'clock games, because this 1 o'clock slate might have been the worst ever.
It was a little dry.
It was dry, like grandma's turkey.
It's a little dry, Clark.
A little.
Here's the neck.
All right, that's going to wrap us up for Dynasty Happy Hour. He's James. He's Tyler. I'm Doug. We'll see you next week in Week